Hi, today we're going to be discussing when eating is about more than just the actual food itself. So, you may have a picky or fussy eater, which is not uncommon. Neophobia is very, very common in young children. But you may also have a child who is very avoidant of food, very fearful among food. I myself, as someone who cooks daily for children of all different ages, different cultures, traditions, customs, with different allergies, intolerances, I know the struggles of cooking meals that suit and please everybody. It's a challenging time. Tea time is probably the worst time ever. So I understand that trying to help your child is even harder than my job, even though I'm cooking for numerous children, because there's more of an emotional attachment involved when it's your own child. You've got more of those fears around, are they getting enough nutrients? Are they eating enough food? Are they eating the right type of food? So if you've got a child that just eats beige food or is particularly fussy, so only opts for certain meals, certain very restrictive meals, so just fish fingers or just chicken nuggets or just pasta or just carbs like bread, this can be really challenging, especially with this time of year now. Christmas is looming, and this is a time where food becomes a big factor in celebrations, family get-togethers, and a lot of mums are feeling the anxiety already and the pressure of being around extended family and friends and having to feel the pressure or the fear that they're going to feel judged serving chicken nuggets to their child as opposed to like roast turkey with all the trimmings. But what I really want to communicate today is this is not about the food. So children have fears around food for all sorts of reasons, but it's not usually the food itself that is causing the anxiety. So there can be something else. Usually it's anxiety itself. That's the big issue. So by you're feeling judged, or by allowing other people to have an input and to affect your enjoyment of celebrations and Christmas dinner things, it's going to be harder on you and your child. It's going to make the mealtime experience more anxiety inducing. So it's to take the pressure off. I feel like we need to explain to family and friends before we go for Christmas dinner, listen, my child is not just a picky eater, is not just a fussy eater. You asking them to try just one mouthful is not going to make them feel better. It's not going to make them want to try that mouthful. If anything, it's going to make them want to scream and run from the table. So please, respectfully, do not try and get my child just to have one more mouthful or just to try a sprout. So that's the main point I think we need to cover here today above everything else. The other point is as well, it's not really about changing your child. It's really about changing the opinions of other people, and it's really about accepting your child for the person they are. It's up to them if they want to eat the food or not. Of course, you want them to be healthy, but sometimes there's a lot more going on behind the scenes that we need to be aware of. Now, if you've got a child with OCD, you'll understand that obsessive compulsive disorder, there is going to be rituals and rules around meal times. There's no escaping that. Or if you've got a child with avid avoidant food restrictive disorder, intake disorder, then you're going to know that there's only a handful of foods they're going to eat. So trying to force them to eat is just futile. And it's the same if you've got a child on the spectrum. So these comfort safe foods for them are safe, they're comfortable. And at a very stressful time of year like Christmas, when everyone's getting together and family, it's exciting, but it's very stimulating. So imagine is going to somewhere and having bright lights everywhere, loud noises, and then different smells and different people and different opinions. It's a lot. It's a lot for us. It's a lot for me, and I think for a child, and especially a child on the spectrum, it's 100 times worse. It's amplified. So I think the key is this Christmas, rather than just focusing on trying to get your child to fit in and be accepted, or family members trying to encourage your child to eat, I think let's just accept the fact that no, they're not going to eat that food, and that's fine, and that's okay. And you shouldn't feel guilty or embarrassed, and don't even feel annoyed with the other people, because the other people that are trying to help, they're very limited in their understanding. So they don't know, and it's not something that they're familiar with. So you have to explain it in a way that is helpful, so that they can feel like they're not being told either, and at the same time you don't feel like you're being judged either. And I think that's really, really important, because it's stressful enough at Christmas without throwing food into the mix. Now, if there is anything you want to learn more about any of these kind of eating disorders, then I'm going to be doing a series of blogs on this over the next month or so. So you can hop on over to www.emmagrantorther.com and read more about the different types of food restrictive disorders there are for children, and ways that you can help them, such as chaining, and also food exposure and playing with food, and allowing your children just to play with food and just to have fun, and just to get into the process and the feeling of enjoying being around food and not fearing the food. And this is for every child, really. Every child needs to be able to experiment, to smell, touch, taste the food, or not if they don't want to. So if they don't want to do it, there should be no force there. There should be no trying to manipulate them or make them or bribe them or anything, and there should be no judgment. It's a judgment-free zone, and it's about making them feel comfortable around food. So getting them involved, like taking them shopping more for groceries, getting them involved in preparing tea, getting them involved in helping you cook the tea, preparing it, choosing menus, watching programs together, going through recipe books together, being familiar with food, being around the food without the pressure to eat it. And I think that's the main focus that you should be focusing on if you're really concerned about your child and their picky, fussy eating or any other eating disorder. Is first and foremost is to help make meal times a more enjoyable experience. And you can also read more about making meal times more enjoyable in my book, The Confident Parent's Guide to Raising a Happy, Healthy and Successful Child Too, available from all good bookstores and Amazon, and on my website soon as well. So there's a section on food there, a whole chapter on it actually. It doesn't specifically deal with the topics that I'm dealing with now at the moment over on my blogs, which is more about children on the spectrum, maybe adding more like food eating disorders, but it does help a little bit with picky, fussy eating in children. So have a look at those books if that is something that interests you, and pop along to www.emmagrantorther.com if you'd like to learn more about any of the services, books, products, courses that I offer to help mums at Mumatherapy. And I'll see you on the next video.